Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This is the first class in English as per the timetable. I personally congratulate all of you for having promoted to 12th standard. And there is no need to give a self-introduction in this brief session and even give an introductory part for the language. If I say in few words, English is a language which you are pursuing right from your first standard. And the same language will continue till the end of your education career. Whether you go to technical course or to the arts, whatever the course it is, but without English, you cannot complete the course. So keeping that in mind, you have to make your mind in such a way that you are giving an equal importance to languages as well. So English is a language which is like a foundation for all the core subjects you are studying in the classroom. If you are weak in language part, you will definitely lacking in your major areas. If you don't understand the language, definitely you will not understand the concept of physics, chemistry, or whatever the core subjects you have. Teaching language is not like beating around the bush. It is a methodology through which we are trying to teach you one of the international language which is spoken in the nook and corner of the world. Indeed, we all are suffering in this pandemic time, and due to this physical distancing, we are not able to meet each other inside the classroom. For the past 4 months, we got trapped inside the four walls, and sometimes we may feel like a cage. But Alhamdulillah, on the other side, life is going on, and it has to go also. And it is a challenging task for the teachers, particularly, to take the classes by utilizing the sources available in hand. The predicament of the government and the credibility of these kind of classes is still a question mark. But there is no any other go. We have to use this kind of channels to come close to each other and learn something which is mandatory for appearing in the exam. I also thank the head of the department, our senior teacher, Mr. ATK, and all the other colleagues who had worked a lot to create the group and connected the teachers with the students community. I have a strong belief that this method of teaching will definitely give a positive outcome, inshallah. So I'm just keeping this PDF format textbook on the screen. to ease you and take the lessons. I have decided to upload this video in Google Drive so you can watch the complete session at a single stretch. And uploading these videos directly in the WhatsApp group is not that easy because of network problems. And I will try to post one separate video to how to get connected to the Google Drive and watch this video. In these days, even people who are economically weak also holding the smartphone in hand. If you don't have the mobile phones and if your parents are having it, it's not an issue. You can get the mobile phones from them when they are at home, and you can watch this video conveniently at this time. So whenever you watch these kind of videos, you keep the class note ready in hand and jot down whatever the concerned teacher is trying to convey in the video in the videos. As I already told you that you all have to keep a separate note for each and every subject. Suppose the same situation continues even for the next 5 to 6 months. That should not happen, but if it continues, definitely only the record will speak even to publish the results. Suppose if we demand a separate note from all of you for each and every subject, and if you fail to submit the record, we will be definitely helpless to publish the results. So to be in a safer side, I suggest you all to keep a separate note for each and every subject, whether it is a major or a language. And don't mix up everything and put all the subjects in a single class note and finally scratch the forehead while preparing for the exam. So, whatever the lesson I am taking, at the end of this lesson, separately I will post an essay for all the lessons, for the prose, poetry, and even for the naughty tale. You just need to take a photo snap and copy those content and write on the class note and show it to me or send it to me to my personal WhatsApp number with your name, with your roll number details, and particularly the class and section. So if you are simply sending the responses without your proper identification, definitely you will be in trouble when we go for counting. So you have a handful of time to write the assignment and submit on time. So now, without wasting the time further, it is better to go ahead and see how many units we have and what are the um, and what are the lessons we had. So you have got 6 units, and each unit consists of three lessons. The first lesson is a prose, two gentlemen of Verona. The second one is a poem, the castle, and the third one is supplementary. It is God sees the truth but waits. And today in this session, we try to finish the first unit briefly. And before going to see the lesson in detail, it is better to have a look on the overview. If you see in the overview, the first one is the prose. The prose section of contain the prose section containing a narration titled Two Gentlemen of Verona by A.G. Cronin, which describes the responsible and mature behavior of two young brothers who toil day and night to pay for the treatment of their elder sister, a war victim who suffers from a critical disease. And the second lesson is The Castle, which is actually the poem by Edwin Moyers, describes the fall of a formidable castle caused by betrayal from within. And when we talk about the supplementary part, the supplementary section consists Leo Tolstoy's story, God Sees the Truth But Waits, which describes the ultimate triumph of truth, proving a convict's innocence. And it also brings out the magnanimous nature of Ashno, who forgives the actual culprit and breathes his last peacefully. So, this just of information is not enough to understand the complete lesson. So, we shall move ahead and discuss the lesson in detail. So, the first lesson is The Two Gentlemen of Verona by A.C. Cronin. It is always advisable to know something about the author before going to the lesson. So I suggest you all to have a look on this page and see that who is this Cronin is. See, Sir Joseph Cronin, who lived in the 20th century and was a Scottish novelist, dramatist, and a physician, a doctor by training. And Cronin was one of the most renowned storytellers of the 20th century. And many of his stories have emerged from his medical career because he was professionally a doctor. So that actually impacted in the lesson as well, and are noted for their narrative skills, deep social concerns, and finally drawn characters. And Cronin's books were not only bestsellers, but some of them were made into successful films and were adapted for radio and television. And his novella Country Doctor was adapted for a long-running BBC radio and TV series. As you know, the father of English literature, Shakespeare, already wrote one of the drama which is titled Two Gentlemen of Verona. If you compare the drama of the Shakespeare with the story of A.J. Cronin, the title part is same, and even if you see the information, uh, the message of the story is also same. The only difference is the characters. There in the Shakespearean Two Gentlemen of Verona, the characters are different, and here A.J. Cronin's story has some three important characters. Here in Two Gentlemen of Verona, there are three important characters that you have to keep in mind when you are going to write an essay. To understand any story, one need to know the character first, the characteristics as well. The first character, Nicola, who is 14 years old, 13 years old, and then Jacopo, his younger brother, whose age is 12 years. The elder brother, Nicola's age is 13, the younger one is 12. And their sister, whose name is Lucia, was hospitalized due to some disease. The entire story is revolving around the warfield. These two brothers are highly sensitive, particularly when we talk about Nicola, who is not just elder in age, even in his seriousness also is elder. And the young one is not that serious, but still, these two brothers are highly responsible and they live a very simple life just to take care of their sister who is hospitalized. Whatever the lesson we pursue in a language, we have to see the in depth information. If you see the first page, you have a small part for the warm up. I just read out. Life is full of ups and downs. Indeed, life life of a person have always ups and downs. You can't say that you live a happy life all the time, and at the same time you can't say that you're suffering for the whole life. So life has two different part, the ups and downs, and it has pleasant surprises as well as rude shocks. So from everything you get a lesson, you get an experience, whether it is a good experience or a bad experience, but you get some sort of experience out of it. Nevertheless, every incident offers a lesson for us to learn and evolve into better individual. So if you have suffered in a life, you have to see that for what reason you suffered, and you have to figure out By doing what you can avoid that suffering in future. So from each and every lesson you have a lot to learn for your life. If you see in that perspective with a deep contemplation, two gentlemen of Verona also has a lot of message for you. This story talks about love, it talks about devotion, it talks about the sacrifice of two brothers for their sister, and of course, it talks about the sincerity and maturity level of these two brothers. And all these quality of these two brothers forces us to consider them as gentlemen, because though they are very young, but they have all these great qualities: the love, devotion, sacrifice. If you see the small gist of the story, you can see three lines here. Here is the story about love, devotion, sacrifice, sincerity, and maturity, displayed by two little boys in their actions to save the life of their sister who suffers from tuberculosis of the spine. Read the story to find out how their actions give a new hope for humanity. So, tuberculosis is, of course, a very dangerous disease, but today we have a medicine for that. It's TB. In short, we call it the TB, tuberculosis. So, the sister of the Nicola and um, Jacopo, whose name is Lucia, is hospitalized for the treatment of her tuberculosis. So then, as I told you already, that the entire story is revolving around the war battle. Verona. Verona is a city in Italy which, which got devastated during Nazis attack. So what is that Nazis attack? You may be aware of Hitler, who did almost all the atrocities and 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 did a massacre of lakhs of people, particularly the minorities of Germany. So the Germany started attacking all the neighboring countries, and even Italy also became a prey of that. So these two brothers lost their house at their younger age. They lost their mother and even a father who was a musician, a singer, and on the other side, even the sibling, the sister, Lucia, also suffered in a tuberculosis. Neither they have a shelter to protect themselves from the uh, you know winter, and nor they have a support of the parents when they were attacked by the war. So here we have to see how these two brothers became so serious in their life and made almost all the attempts to take care of their sister Lucia. Here the narrator is Ajo Cronin himself. He travels in a car and he happens to stop at one place, and there he meets these two brothers. For the survival, they are selling flowers, they are polishing shoes, sometimes they are supplying newspapers, sometimes they are even acting like a guide for the tourist guys. And somehow or the other, they are managing for making money and with the uh, treating their sister. On the first side, Cronin feels so great that these boys are living with a strong determination. And very next day again, he happens to see the same boys are putting polishes to the shoes. And after that, again he get amazed to see these brothers working like a guide for the tourists. So round the clock they are working and making the money in some way or the other just to protect her sister, just to give a treatment for her sister. In today's world, in our neighbor, maybe within the family or the relative, we are coming across so many people who are irresponsible. Despite having a lot of responsibilities on their head, they are irresponsible. They are not taking the life seriously, like these two brothers. Sometimes people living a life of lavishness, but fails to take care of their family. Sometimes people become a prey of intoxication and wasting their entire money for that and letting the family members to die on the footpath. But if you see the qualities of these two brothers, the first thing, they have a lot of love towards their sibling Lucia. And after that, you can see the devotion, a kind of determination towards their goal, towards their motto. And at the same time, they are sacrificing a lot. At the age of 13 or 14, nobody do this kind of work. But these two brothers are taking a life as a challenge and sacrificing their own childhood for the sake of their sister. And it's a fact that when you sacrifice something, only then you will get something in return. And this is what these brothers also do. They sacrifice their childhood. Instead of playing in a ground and mingling with their friends, they are working so hard to treat their sister. And even they are very sincere in their job. They are working promptly with a lot of maturity. So, if you see the story of these two brothers, you have a lot to learn from them. Their seriousness of life, though they are just 13 and 12 and 13 years old. And at the same time, they live a lesson of love. Money is not everything in this life. You can make money whenever you wish. But when you lose your sibling, your love, one of the family member, you will not get their life back again. So they are sacrificing their life. They are working so hard. They don't even sleep properly. Actually, when you read the entire story, if you go and read between the lines, you have a lot to figure out in the story. Sincerity, and most of the adolescent aged like you people, when you assign some work to be done at home, almost half of the class is not taking the work as seriously as you're supposed to take. Even at the age of 17 and 18, some of you are behaving like a child. As a teacher, we can even see the childishness in your attitude. So, in Nicholas and Jacobo's life, in their behavior, in their attitude, you can see all these qualities. They love their sister. They have devoted their life for her. They have sacrificed their own childhood for her, and they are very sincere in their work. At the same time, at this young age, they are mature at par with the adults. And here, in the first page of the lesson, you see the warm up. There are many questions actually. Mention some unexpected challenges or adversities one could face in life. Without challenges, life is not possible. Sitting at one place, if you are expecting to have a morsel of food, that will not come and enter into your mouth. To make a morsel of food, you have to move your physical body and you have to do something for that. So nothing is available at the free of cost in this world. So challenges is a part of life that you cannot even avoid. When you get a trick of trade to face the challenges, then you will become a master to tackle it. And if you see the second question, what qualities do you think one should possess to handle hardships and overcome them? What I told you just now, a strong determination, and you have to be always go-getter. You have to be optimistic always. You have to be positive. When you are positive, that mindset itself will put you in the right track. If you are a pessimistic minded person, you may always take a back seat from your responsibilities. If you think that you can do this, definitely you can do that. If you think that it's not possible by you, then you are losing everything. So first you have to make your mind positively. When you get a positive mind, ultimately you will find all these five important qualities which is mentioned in the first page. What are those? A love, towards each other, devotion, sacrifice, sincerity, and maturity. So all these qualities will come into you. So what you have to do now, you have to inculcate the positives, inculcate the optimistic mindset. If you inculcate that quality in you, your life will be beautiful, your life will be glorious, and always to live a happy life. So, from this lesson of Nicola, Jacobo, and Lucia, you can understand what qualities a person should possess to live a happy life. And let's go deep into the story. So, the narrator, Cronin, meets these two brothers frequently with the interval of time. And finally, one fine day, he follows these two guys walking towards one particular uh, hospital. So he goes on tiptoes without making any noise, and he just stands out and see that where these two boys are intruding, and they are entering into the hospital, and he also intrudes on tiptoes without making noise, and finally uh, he sees two brothers sitting next to the patient who is lying down on the cot. So his is not he doesn't dare to go and put a question directly to this boss. Rather, he inquires from the nurse, okay, who is inquires from the duty nurse uh, about the relationship of these two brothers with the patient who is hospitalized. Then the nurse reveals the fact that these two brothers, Nicola and Jacobo, are the siblings of the person who is hospitalized. Which that person is the sister, Lucia. And later on, he raises many more questions like how they are affording all these hospital expenses and all. Then the nurse replies with a justifiable answer that these two brothers are working so hard day and night just to give a treatment and afford the expenditure, medical expenses of their sister. And there, if he feels so great up, he feels so great about them because though they are very young, they possess all these qualities. This kind of qualities sometimes is lacking even in the adults. So, being a student, you people have to get this lesson as a tool for your life. What you have to be, and what you have to do, and what you should not do. Everything you can find this in this story. The first thing, they lost their house. Their house got devastated in the military attack. Their house got bombarded. Because of that, they lost their parents, and somehow these siblings survived. and and taking care of the system. In your examination, you have to write the essay for this beautiful story, and you have synonyms and antonyms as well. And if you read the text, you may come across so many vocabularies that may be new to you. And when you have a doubt, either you can refer the dictionary, or else you can find the important the meanings of some important vocabularies used in the text. For example, shrug, rise one's shoulder. Shrug means what? Rise one's shoulders slightly and momentarily. Tunic, a loose out garment without sleeves. Slacken, reduced. Demeanor, appearance and behavior. Artless, innocent, careless. Hop, sell things crying out loudly going from place to place. Deserted, uninhabited, unoccupied. Emigrate, take up citizenship of another country. Vexation, annoyance, vestibule, lobby. Chatter, a series of short, quick, high-pitched sounds. Intrude, enter without permission. Rubble, that is debris. Debris means broken part of the building, broken bricks. So, likewise, we have some important vocabularies with the meaning inside the glossary, and you have 3 marks question given below. Who did the narrator meet at the outskirts of Verona? Why did the driver not approve of the narrator buying fruits from the boys? The boys did not spend much on clothes and food. Why? So you have the answer for each and every question raised here. And I suggest you all to go through the text at least once completely from the beginning to the end. When you read the text, you will definitely understand the nook and corner of the story. Here in this, you know, in the video shooting, it is not possible to read out the entire text because uh, one video clip may capture at least 200 MB, and it's really very difficult to upload this 200 MB video clip in the WhatsApp. So I'll just give you the link of the Google Drive through which you can watch this video and understand um, completely. Sakit, sakit, sakit tuloy. Hafaran din. So with this, you have vocabularies, important vocabularies, and you have antonyms and synonyms for this, and you have confusables, homonym and homophones you have, and whatever the words you have here, almost all the words are used in the lesson. and you have the phrasal verbs like a tough, come upon, put out, draw up, pass out, take off, turn away, stand by, bank on, like this. You have the fill in the blanks. You have one small part for the listening practice, and even you have a part for drafting your speech. And in the same lesson, you have tenses actually. I have decided to make a separate video for the grammatical part because mixing the grammar with the lesson will put you in confusion. So let's see the grammar a little later. And you have the model auxiliaries. That's one of the important question. Model auxiliaries. You have two different types in that, model and semi-model. And I will teach you later about this in detail. And then yes, reported speech you have, and you have a dialogue rating, and of course writing of letter also there. You can find this in your page number. What is the page number? What is the page number of this? I think it is 16. Yes.